I'd like to welcome you to the 2019 State of the City Expo. Our City Council is on hand tonight at the elected officials table, and I'll be joining them after this address, so please come by and see us. I'd like to thank our junior City Council for greeting you this evening, Randy Weaver, Ty Northrup, and Jeremy Little for cooking for us, Paige Crawford for coming up with this awesome concept for tonight's all-access event. And of course, you for coming and supporting it. Serving as your mayor of my hometown has been one of the great honors of my life. The progress we've made in just over 2 years has been both rewarding and exciting. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our talented and professional directors, supervisors, and city employees who have been instrumental in our success. Let's give them a hand of applause. Please be sure to stop by their tables before you leave tonight. I want to take a few minutes to give you an overview of some of our successes. In our finance department, we have fully separated our city and utility finances and departmentalized all of our expenses and revenue in order to significantly improve our financial condition. Every director and supervisor is now heavily involved in the strategic budget process. We've invested in ways to become more efficient, training employees on our Munis software, which was purchased years ago but never used to its full capacity, and more expenses have been broken down in order to better manage costs. In 2 years, we've turned around a city running at a $6 million deficit to nearly a self-sufficient city. Before this term, the city required more than half of utility profits to fund government services. And today, I'm happy to report we've reduced that to just 5%. This means our utility department can finally use its profits for infrastructure upgrades and annual maintenance thereafter to prevent us from repeating a long-term neglect. Leaders within our utility department have put together a 5-year plan to upgrade all of our aging infrastructure in all of the utilities to help ensure a sustainable, environmentally clean future. Our IT department works harder than ever, taking care of the infinite details to keep us secure and plan for our growth, while saving us money and keeping employees up to date on their training. We've been meeting and gathering as much information as we can in order to bring accessible, affordable fiber to the city of Fairhope. Comprehensive infrastructure for fiber will be as important to our future as other utility services, which is why municipalities need to play a key role in order to create competitive options. It will be essential for the industry our city wants to attract, in addition to providing a higher quality of life for our residents. While you're here tonight, please visit the IT department table to fill out a survey for municipal fiber. The survey will also be sent through our Everbridge notification system. If you have not signed up for this communication, you can do so on the front page of our website, and I encourage you to do this. Thanks to efforts in our HR department, we now have incredible outreach to fill open positions with the most qualified people. We're also implementing a new wellness program this year through Thomas Hospital. The city is self-insured, so investing in our employees' wellness not only reduces our liability, but will increase employee attendance, productivity, and ultimately a healthier lifestyle. With 27% growth in population since 2010, and a police jurisdiction that extends 3 miles from our municipal limits, our police department had become significantly understaffed. Recognizing our need to increase the number of officers in the department and filling the holes for the required experience needed was a critical goal. Chief Hollinghead has been doing just that, in addition to more training for existing police staff. The Parks and Recs Department has an enormous reach, and due to our reacquiring of the Fairhope Docks and Marina and restructuring Quail Creek into this department, it's bigger now than ever. The golf greens are in the best shape they've ever been, and we are investing in our marina to preserve this important asset. Public Works has started correcting our stormwater issues. We've saved an average of $560,000 a year in engineering fees by hiring 2 in-house engineers, and we've reinvested this savings into replacing aging equipment, hiring more employees with additional experience needed in the many departments which were running in a reactionary mode up until now. We have reduced the city's liability and established collaborative planning for the department improvements. Fairhope is the fastest growing and the rainiest city in the country as a suburb of Mobile, and is in a unique position to utilize innovative, comprehensive planning strategies as we continue to grow. I am proud to announce that the Planning and Community Development Department will now fall under an initiative called Innovative Communities by Design. Government in general is not known for innovation, and cities that thrive are directly influenced by innovative population. For over 100 years, the city of Fairhope has attracted creative free thinkers, creating a center within our local government to design our infrastructure and promote a resilient and more environmentally sustainable future is a natural fit. Planning our future growth has been paramount to this administration. Although this process cannot happen overnight, we've made incredible strides to ensure we safeguard your investment in our community and sustain a level of quality of life you expect. The city has helped fund the creation of Hatch, a business resource hub for technology-based entrepreneurs, which provides startups with a place to grow and fosters the entrepreneurial spirit for which Fairhope is known. Hatch is now working with tech and other entrepreneurs in various stages of patent filing, business plan development, market testing, investor presentations. In our planning department, we have a refined application review process for new development that is collaborative among utilities, economic and community development department, building, and public works department. They work together with the developer to scrutinize every aspect of the project from the beginning before the developer invests in engineering and architecture expenses, resulting in a much smoother process, better coordination, and several cost-sharing opportunities, all of which create an improved final product and save taxpayers. We will be starting the city's first ever comprehensive land use plan this year, integrating form-based code, factoring in impacts to our watersheds, growth projections, and utility infrastructure strategies. It will be the roadmap for smart, responsible growth. The Economic and Community Development Department has greatly impacted our progress, helping to secure nearly $21 million in grant funding, while also working with the community to address important issues like pedestrian safety, connectivity through the city, promote tourism and local shopping, especially for our independent businesses, and strengthen lines of communication with our citizens. Our building department has added an experienced fire inspector. Many of you have probably met him around town, He has brought Fairhope businesses to code in 2 short years, along with hiring additional building inspectors for a much faster turnaround. We completed a new impact fee study to more accurately determine occupancy and the true impact of new development affecting our streets, parks and rec, fire, and police. This enhancement will better fund these various departments, saving money for you, the taxpayer. Inspired by Henk Ovink, the newly appointed Special Envoy of International Water Affairs of the Netherlands, we will model our innovative communities by design after his Rebuild by Design, which is to reimagine the process by which communities create solutions to complex problems. You can read more about this innovative approach in the booklet. Believe me, the integration of collaborative, design-driven solutions to address stormwater, sanitary sewer overflows, or SSOs, and future land use planning will transform Fairhope for the better. One of our city's greatest assets is Mobile Bay and the many streams and creeks in our watershed that feed it. We take water quality very seriously and are committed to improving a healthy bay. You can read more about the details accomplished over the last 20 months, in addition to other frequently asked questions, on the front page of our website entitled Frequently Asked Questions. In addition to the efforts now underway, we are committed to finding solutions to improve water quality, which must begin above the water's edge. The following projects will be implemented this year under the Innovative Communities by Design initiative, with the $18 million secured from Restore Act funds. These projects will not cost you, the taxpayer, and were devised on clean water initiatives. The Eastern Shore SSO Prevention Plan will be a 3-year project. We will be conducting an incentivized challenge for solutions to drastically minimize or eliminate SSOs altogether, from insufficient capacity, inflow, and infiltration from excess stormwater. The Working Waterfront Green Space Restoration Project, a 3-year plan, will start very soon. It includes bluff stabilization that integrates drainage infrastructure, upgrades our seawalls, and living shoreline infrastructure to protect the bayfront from future erosion. We will be conducting the first ever comprehensive community-based comprehensive land use plan, which may be the most significant project of all. This plan is vital to our future and was a priority of mine to put in place because your #1 concern when I was elected was haphazard growth. The plan will integrate form-based code, factor in our watersheds and how they impact growth, and assess growth projections into our utility infrastructure. It will direct city officials on the best development opportunities for each area of Fairhope. The outcome will be the roadmap for smart, responsible growth, which will have a vibrant impact on our quality of life. The 4th and final project funded from Restore is a $10 million sewer rehabilitation upgrade, which will take place over the next 5 years to protect the long-term health of Mobile Bay and our environment. And now, I want to present a 5-minute video about the field work we just completed for the Tatumville Watershed Project. The data is being modeled to provide the current status of the watershed, identify areas at risk and that have been compromised by development, and projects for mitigation. This information will also be used to plan and protect our other watersheds.
The city of Fairhope is a little bit different than other cities because we're built on gullies and ravines, which are drainage basins.
The gully system in Fairhope is critical, and the health of these gullies serve our citizens in ways that many of us don't even understand.
Primarily, people think about the gullies historically as a place to congregate and to enjoy the wildlife, the scenery, and just play. But then you start looking at the real function of the gully, and it is to convey water.
Managing the water that flows through that gully system is complex.
When you have development going on in a watershed, you're putting more water into that watershed in higher volumes. The velocity of the water can degrade and erode away the gully.
One of the tendencies that we're already seeing is that people begin to harden their own edges, they begin to put up retaining walls. It increases the flow of the water. The city then responds by hardening the gully itself and speeding up the water, and it makes even more erosion.
As the city grows, you have to have roads and you have people build in areas that shouldn't have been built in, and it affects everything.
So this is a community that's concerned that they're kind of losing their own kind of historic community because the property around them is being developed in a way that they don't have any ability to afford to stay in their community.
Fairhope's plan to increase community resilience to flooding is heavily reliant on a healthy gully system that moves water safely to the Mobile Bay. Protecting this essential natural infrastructure meant understanding more about the gully system by gathering hard data along with community input and perspectives. Using existing watershed management data resources, the city created a GIS-based map of the community's stormwater facilities and the current condition of flood hazard areas. From here, the city is able to use an advanced modeling tool to determine which structures are at risk of flooding now and in the future. The model is only one part of the resilience equation for Fairhope. Key to protecting and maintaining the city's natural stormwater pathways is the social science data gathered through the creation of the South Fairhope Community Action Plan to better understand how the success of resilience action is shaped by and relies on those who live in the community. For the Tatumville Gully, residents were surveyed and invited to participate in the creation of a plan that addresses their needs and sets a vision of their hopes for the future. This plan is the basis for strengthening channels of communication and trust among city staff, city officials, and residents. This trust is the backbone of a successful resilience plan and is required for any community to adapt to increasing flood risks created by sea level rise. Using models, data, and stormwater plans, officials along the Alabama Gulf Coast will need to communicate information and share resources with those who live and work in affected areas. This community buy-in is essential for getting everyone on the same page, working together to build the resilience required for living on the Alabama coast amidst changing environmental conditions.
Our part was to enlist a lot of community stakeholders to do a very detailed survey of all the property owners in the community to really understand what their concerns were and also what their hopes were for their community.
Community engagement is one of the most important things we're doing. These are human lives that will be affected by all the decisions that we make.
We found a very interested and engaged community, very concerned about what was going on, and we found a lot of very committed community residents.
We have kind of put the gullies on the back burner as far as maintaining them and making sure that they last long into the future for what they're there for. So, this project is going to teach us, hopefully, how we can make these watersheds more resilient.
These data will really help everyone realize that the gully is at a critical point where some things have to change so that it doesn't get worse and begins to get better.
Data is going to give us a baseline. It's going to tell us in a picture in time how the watershed is developed today, how is it behaving, and where are the weak spots.
Our work with the community is to help them figure out and help the city begin to figure out a process that gets more community involvement in development, in the decisions that are going on around land use and around the infrastructure.
Everything we do can be looked at through this lens. How is the community involved? What are we doing environmentally? What are we doing internally to make sure we're cross-working? That's resilience.
Please visit our various departments, eat, and keep your raffle tickets because you can pick up your gift at the Economic and Community Development table, and we will also have raffle door prizes, including the flowers on the table brought to you by our horticulture department. So I really want to thank our departments again for going all out. The creative things that they've done today, it's just been very exciting. And I so appreciate you, and let's have fun. Thank you.